But you know, there was a period in the 1950s when it was virtually impossible to switch on a radio or listen to any jukebox anywhere in the country without hearing one particular voice. She was an extraordinary hit on both sides of the Atlantic with songs like Wheel of Fortune and Side by Side. She's Starr. Where have you been for the past 15 years?
I've been home.
Yes, we haven't seen anything of you at all.
I know. I'm hard to get. All you got to do is invite me, but nobody did.
Somebody's been sadly amiss there.
Yes.
But you literally care. You were a child performer when you started out because you grew up in Oklahoma where the family used to sit on the porch picking away the guitars.
I was born in Oklahoma, but I was raised in Texas and Tennessee. But that still is country music, and that's how I started out.
Yes, yeah. And you were still at school when you were singing professionally. How did you manage that?
Well, you just manage it. I won an amateur show, and the prize was a 15-minute radio show. And through the 15-minute radio show, somebody heard me and asked me, and then I started singing on weekends with the local bands, you know, and I had the best of it. I was on the radio, and I was covering Saturday night. So I grew up sort of singing all along.
Now, I had never realized this before. You did at one point sing with the Glenn Miller Band. How did that come about?
I did. It was a very short time. Marion Hutton became ill and had to be hospitalized, and I just happened to have finished singing with Bob Crosby, and I was only a little over 15 years old, and my mother and I were in New York, and we were going to gather up all of our luggage and go back to Memphis, where I was going to go back to school. So this, being in the right place at the right time, this fella was told that I had just gone upstairs, and so he called. He didn't have any idea how old I was or anything. He'd only heard me sing. So he called upstairs, and he talked to me, and he says, could you sing with the Glenn Miller Band? Well, I was astounded because, you know, Glenn Miller, that was hot stuff. So I said, well, you'll have to speak to my mother. Well, he, you know, there was this big silence. He thought, what am I into? And I put my mother on the phone, but because we only had one room, she wouldn't let us receive him up there. It wasn't proper. So we went down into the lobby and talked a little while, and I sang 11 days with Glenn Miller's band.
You look back on those days with great nostalgia.
It's pitiful. You know, youth is really wasted on the very young. If I had known then what I was going through, I would have loved it better.
Now, you are, it's not accidental that you're wearing this kind of outfit because you are a Cherokee Indian. Actually, you're not quite a Cherokee Indian because your father was Iroquois, your mother was half Choctaw, you're wearing Navajo earrings just to make it a little more complicated. But we hear a lot in this country about the plight of the American Indian. Now, we find that difficult to understand. I mean, we can certainly understand the basic thing about how the Indian had his land taken away from him. But what's the beef in 1983?
Do you want to know my version of it? Is that what you're asking? Well, being an Indian, I think I can give you my version of it. It's just simple. The Indian people don't help themselves. I have started with several very influential Indian people. I've started the American Indian Scholarship Fund because in America, when an Indian is subsidized by the government and goes to college, he is not allowed to get a job the first year that he's in college. And it's impossible for him to write home and say, look, can you send me a little more cash? Because there is no money there. He can't ask for his allowance early because he needs more books or the car won't start. So what we did is we got together and had the buffalo feasts and art things, you know, anything we could to make money.
To make money.
And we kept putting it in the bank, and with the interest that came on it. Then when we got enough, then an Indian that went to college and got the proper grades, and we know that he was sincere, we let him borrow on that for the first year. Then the ensuing 3 years, he was allowed to pay it back. And it was wonderful.
But fundamentally, it's the old tribal thing, presumably.
Sure. Every tribe thinks they're the best, and they don't want to fool with anybody else.
Oh, I knew you were going to get into this program somehow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
These are the finished toffee apples, aren't they?
Just for you.
They're extremely hairy. I mean, how do we actually get in there?
Oh, we're going to cut it in.
Oh, you can
You could put this on a Christmas tree. Yeah.
Anyhow,
no.
before you eat that, Kay, I mean, we've got to have a K-Star song. Don't forget to untip the microphone. I shall drag the chair with you.
All right.
And pop across there. And what are you going to sing for us?
What can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry?
Smashing. You just pop across there. I'm going to thank you, my love. I will try these after the program. Donnie McLeod's certainly not going to get them. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Join us then. In the meantime, let me leave you with Miss K-Star.
Tell me what can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? What can I do to prove it to you I'm sorry? I didn't mean to ever be mean to you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel like I do. you. Why would I take somebody like you and change you? I know that I made you cry, and I'm sorry, dear. What can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? Well, what can I do to prove I'm sorry? What can I say to show I'm sorry? Now, I didn't mean to ever be mean to you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel like I do. But I was wrong, and I don't blame you. Why would I take my life and shame you? Now I made you cry, and I'm sorry, dear. But what can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? What not? What can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? What can I do to prove it to you I'm sorry? No, I didn't mean to ever be mean to you.